Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hammer Podcast. Today is April 6th, 2022, and I am speaking with Brady. Brady went to the Diamond Ranch Academy in Hurricane, Utah from roughly 2016 to 2018. Brady, how you doing? You ready?
Um, I'm good. Uh, just hanging in there,
All right. So
doing my thing.
go ahead and start from the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Um,
let's hear your
yeah.
story.
I went to Diamond Ranch Academy, um, and the reason I went there was I was having some behavioral problems at home. Um, that my parents didn't know the full extent of, but I wasn't going to school, so. I believe it's from my understanding that my school district had paid for me to go to this place because my parents could not afford it. Um, I went there. I was on a lot of drugs at the time, and my parents didn't really understand that. I guess they were a little blind to it. But I was on fentanyl, Xanax, alcohol, heroin, pretty much everything under the sun. When I got there, I had to detox cold turkey from all that.
Ooh,
So, yeah,
that was rough.
even
I'm
though,
sorry.
yeah, it was a rough experience to say the least. Um, and I got transported there by transporters. I mean, they call them transporters, but they're really body brokers. Um, so, yeah, uh, they picked me up. I was drugged. They gave me a bunch of Ativan where I was at when they before they picked me up, um, and I barely remember the flight. I guess from what I heard, I overheard some of the staff saying is that they drove me from Vegas to Utah in Hurricane from the airport or LA, I believe actually LAX. They drove me from LAX to there, and I don't remember any of it. Um, but I remember being on the plane, being sad. You know what I mean? Not really know what was going on for the most part. So um, yeah, I got there, detoxed from heroin, fentanyl, Xanax, uh, alcohol, cold turkey, which is super fucking dangerous. I might add, I could have died for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and I got there. I remember like very clearly like going to lay down, and well, I wasn't sleeping, but I was trying to rest, and they woke me up about an hour later and told me I had to go down for dinner. I was like, I don't really want to go to dinner. Can I just stay up here and sleep? And they're like, no. And um, I kind of just was like, all right, So I went down there, talked to everybody, tried to communicate, and I was just struggling because I was still detoxing. And yeah, I mean, while I was there, one of my first roommates that I got along with was, I mean, it was pretty well divulged that he divulged to me that he was an active gang member in Northern California. So, I mean, and there were other people there who talked about being in gangs and stuff like that. A lot of them, the people that were there talking about being in gangs, were court ordered. Um, I got into a lot of fights. I got into a fight with this kid named Jennings. Hope he's doing well. We were just kids, and we fought in the middle of the night. Like people would fight all the time, like secretly, or if we got caught, we got sent to this detention room. They called it RFI, where we sit and we couldn't talk. About 2 weeks after I got there, um, I hatched an escape plot. So um, me and like four other people, or it started I think with six of us, and we were like I had already known like from the moment I got there like that this place was fucked fucked up. Like it was like they were gonna abuse us because I'd been to other programs in the past, and it was nothing like this. And I we had some escape plots, so we had two people that backed out from actually running. We called it running. Uh, to distract the staff. So we distracted the staff and we got out of the building. Um, and we ran. We made it about, I don't know, a mile down the street, and we're on top of this plateau that we climbed. And I remember we're looking over and we see every single person in that town driving around, lighting up the bushes, like it's almost like they had the whole town on their payroll. Like uh, it was crazy, all the cops were looking for us. We see them all driving around,
A big search
Uh,
party.
yeah, huge search party. And we were trying to make it to St. George because we had, I guess, one of my friends there named Jordan. Yeah, I love Jordan. I haven't spoken with him or seen him post anything in a while, but he he had somebody there. If we could get a hold of them, that would pick us up and we would get out of there, hopefully. Um, and I we tried to make it back to St. George, and we had to retrace our steps a little bit. So we go into this little like trailer park next to where Hurricane is, and um, we're walking around, and all of a sudden some dude comes out of his house with a shotgun, cocks it, and he's like, "What the fuck are you kids doing?" And he points it at us. Swear to God. Yeah, so he points the shotgun at us. We run. We take off. We're hopping fences. We get into the backyard of what I believe I heard was the high priest of the Mormon church in that area, his backyard, and he tries to hit this one kid that we had there with a shovel, and then uh, Ricky, one of the staff there, he's the owner's son, I believe. He's one of the yeah. So he comes up behind me. I just give up at that point. I couldn't jump any more fences, so I got on the ground, and I laid face down with my hands on the back of my head. He's screaming he's gonna fucking kill us and all sorts of shit. Um, and he used the F word. He's like, "I'm gonna murk you." I remember those words so clearly. He's like, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you." So he comes up behind me and he grabs me. I had long hair back then, like really long hair, and he grabs me by the back of my hair like this, like all the way up, down on my scalp. Starts slamming my face into the ground, and he's like, and I'm screaming the F word. I'm like F F F F F. And he's like, "You swear one more time, I'm gonna drop you on your face." And he picks me up by my hair and starts carrying me off into the car where they're like rescuing us, I guess.
Rescuing.
Right. Into this van, right?
Okay.
And we get in the van. The cops walk up. They're like, "Oh, you guys got him?" And they're like, "Yeah, blah blah blah." They're just talking with him. He's told us like if we say anything to the cops, he was gonna like really hurt us. So we didn't say anything. I remember we got back and they took pictures of, I believe, me. I don't know if they took pictures of all of us, but they took pictures of me. They didn't search me or anything, um, but they took pictures of me and like everything, and like they just sent us to bed. I sat in the detention room where we couldn't talk. We couldn't socialize with the other clients when we got back, with the other inmates when we got back up there. And I had to be silent for like a month. Like I was in there for
Wow.
over a month, well over a month. Um, and finally I kind of caved and started kind of going with the flow a little bit. I started, I was under constant threat of physical violence when I was there. Um, they when they do their when they what they call restraints, they pressure point you. And I know I heard a story about one of the kids who got that done to him, and they paralyzed his face. That was well talked about by the other clients there. Um, and that was one of the big stories there. Like they put the pressure points on you, it could paralyze you, it can damage your nerves. Like, so we're all scared, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I get by this time, like once I get out of RFI, I kind of am just like you know just doing my best just to not get in trouble or whatever. And I remember like I got into fights. Like we started this thing where we managed to get cards, so we started a whole gambling ring when we were there. Um, and we're gambling for these protein shakes that our parents had to pay for, um, and food items and meals, whole meals, right? So
Okay.
I remember this one kid, Paul. He ran up a debt of about, I don't know, maybe 1,000, 2,000 meals, not just food items, meals, in a matter of, I don't know, a few hours. They made that kid starve. Yeah, they made that kid starve for like weeks. It was bad. It was
Oh,
bad. And like the staff did little to nothing about it. I mean, I participated in it. I was like, I wouldn't take people's meals or do whatever, but I mean, I would still take a food item or something. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, but we saw it as like all fair and square. I mean, that's like jail politics. You know what I mean? You lose and you're betting soups and like whatever, and if you don't, you get beat up or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was a lot of these kids had been to like juvenile. Some of the kids had been to juvenile prison or like had experience with like certain things similar to that. So like it's we're all making bets and doing things like that, and it really fucking fucked over some people. Pretty
What were
much.
you playing? Spades or
We played spades. We played Texas Hold'em. We played a lot of different games. Mostly spades and Texas Hold'em, though. I'd say the majority of it was Texas Hold'em. Um, and I remember like uh, when I have a quote I shared on.
nope, your camera went off.
I know I'm reading something
Okay.
from my a Facebook post I posted in a group about DRA.
Okay.
And I said, I've never seen more neglectful childcare than DRA. I had to detox from alcohol, fentanyl, and benzodiazepines cold turkey. I can't tell you how dangerous that is. I was physically assaulted by one of the Diaz's clients as well. I had access to illegal drugs and gambling when I was there. The staff are hostile and show little or no empathy for students and clients. I was made to sit in a room totally silent for over a month with no socializing, and I was isolated from other students. I was harassed by staff. The food quality was terrible. It's run much like a correctional facility. There's gang activity. You can't leave or go outside except on close watch. They withheld letters and communications to my family, and all of this is extremely detrimental to mental health. They've had clients die there, and every kid I've heard from since then has dealt with their own trauma from being there. It took me years to get past it. I watched one kid starve because he ran up a gambling debt for weeks. It's nothing short of jail politics in there. I'm definitely doing better now, but that definitely I'm sober, and that definitely made it tough. Um, and then essentially I said, I've had a much more positive treatment experience as an adult, and knowing what I know now, DRA is physically, mentally, and emotionally and spiritually abusive. And there's some sick people who run those places. It's nothing short of a body brokering racket. And I know that because I've been trafficked before. That's exactly what DRA is doing. Um, I mean, from my experience, like they are trafficking kids. Like there's a lot of talk about these transporters. Even I've heard the name from some of the staff that I manipulated and got close to with. Um, I knew that they were calling them body brokers, and like they actually tried to recruit me to be one of these transporters or body brokers. If you've ever seen the movie Body Broker, it's very similar to that. These people that get paid by the head. So that's what they call it. They call it people by heads. Like they get paid to go take people to treatment centers. That's one of the ways you can body broker people, and that's mostly with kids. And that's a form of body brokering. The tactics they use to withhold information from your outside world is all very similar to human trafficking. I've been trafficked as an adult, you know what I mean, and in an adult treatment facilities, so I know what it's like. I had access to drugs. I got 15. I got like probably a whole script of Vicodin when I was in there, and nobody ever found out about it. And a lot of people got caught for it, but there's people bringing in drugs, tobacco, all sorts of stuff. You know what I mean? I got high as fuck in there. You know what I mean? So.
Well, how were they getting them in there? Were they keystering them?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much. I mean, they just tie it to their leg or something, or tape it to themselves where they
Okay.
couldn't see it. But they did strip searches and all sorts of stuff like that when I was there. Um, you know what I mean? And they're not like you can't strip search kids. You know what I mean? So, it's super messed up.
Yeah,
And
but when you think about it though, in those facilities, you
yeah,
strip search a kid, who's going to know besides
right,
them?
right, right,
You know.
yeah. So that's in short, some of my experiences that I've had with DRA. There was a lot of racism. They picked on the black kids. There's a lot of mental health problems that went unchecked. Like there was a kid who was like bathing in hand sanitizer there. I won't name his name, but I felt bad. You know what I mean? He was a really good kid. Um, and like his like skin was cracking all over the place from doing that, and like they did nothing about it. I watched a kid get his face slammed into a desk, like a sixth grade kid. I think his name was Tyler. I watched his face get slammed into a desk, um, uh, and like repeatedly by this staff named Jace. He was a fuck. He was for sure one of the hardest on the little kids. He's kind of a sicko. He was a sicko. I mean, they're all sickos. They don't care about you. You've got all these licensed, trained therapists who are being paid to manipulate the parents of these kids. Like that's the reality of what's going on.
Sure.
Every time I talk about like they're abusing me here, they click, hang up. Um, Anytime I mention something they didn't like, click, hang up. That's experience I've seen in my survivor groups as well. So that's been shared by a lot of people, but you know,
Any sexual assault going on?
I heard about it. I knew there was a pedophile that worked there at some point. And I don't know if you've used any kids there, apparently not, but I heard that there's a therapist there named Troy, who I had as well for a little bit, who possibly sexually assaulted one of the girls there. I wouldn't doubt it, but that's just my opinion.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sucks. It can't be proven, huh?
yeah,
Yeah. This
yeah.
this kind of reminds me of another place that I've done podcasts for, Agape.
Okay.
But they're
I
not
think I've heard
Mormon.
of that place.
Yeah, they're not Mormon. They're Baptist.
Okay.
So, but it's everything you're saying. It's the exact same thing. The restraints, the abuse, slamming up
Yeah.
against the walls and tables, and
Yeah, I mean, I
assault.
saw kids get their faces ground into pavement. Like, there's a black kid there that I knew. He was got into an argument with someone, and like somebody just walked up and just slammed him on the pavement and started grinding his face with their knee into his face and neck. So yeah, it's messed up.
Yeah, that is. So you basically just laid low. Basically, try to stay out of
Yeah,
trouble.
I laid low. I would say that I was pretty good at like. I mean, I come from a background where like I was around a lot of criminal activity, so I'm like I know how to earn the trust of people. So I acted really bad when I first got there, and that didn't get me anywhere. So I adapted to my circumstances, and I started acting buddy buddy with all the staff and everything. And there's a kid there named Duffy who um, assaulted me for I was being disrespectful to him, and he called me in the room, and I walked in the room. He punched me in the face. I He punched me in the face, and then I swung back. Whatever. Duffy, if you're out there, I hope you're doing well. um, but you know, it was they showed me the video and they're all laughing like, oh, you kicked his ass, and I'm like all this stupid stuff, and like they're like or just showed me the video like 20 times. Like, oh my god, that's crazy. And uh, it was interesting to say the least. Yeah.
Was there
So
ever? I know it's a Mormon run
yeah.
facility. Did they ever have any type of church services there?
Yes, they had them on the TV. You could go there, but that was the only one you could do. So,
There was you couldn't watch movies, you couldn't do anything like
um,
that.
at certain points during the day, they allowed us to watch movies or play games. Yeah,
Okay, all right.
but they were very closely monitored. Um,
I'm sure.
so, yeah, we made bets on those as well. So,
Any type of nudity. Oh, okay, come on. I bet you a tray of food that she'll show a boob or something.
no, I mean,
No, nothing like that.
nothing like that, but that I experienced. But I did hear about a lot of the kids having sexual intercourse or oral sex while I was there. I heard about some kids hooking up and stuff like that when I was there, and that was they got sent to RFI for it. That's how we find out about it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the word spreads quick. You know what I mean?
But the
So.
boys and the girls are in separate buildings, or they're just in a separate.
Yeah, they're in separate buildings, but I know that some of the clients claimed to have hooked up with certain girls when they walked into they snuck off like if they walk because they would walk into our building, but like there was a few clients who had claimed to have snuck around and slept with some of the girls there or done stuff like that. But I mean, we were in high school. They could have been just talking out their ass.
Yeah.
But I never witnessed any sexual things on my end for per se.
Hmm.
I mean, I've seen like 100 fucking, dicks and butt cheeks and fucking all sorts of shit when I was there, because we all lived in close quarters, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah.
So the shower stalls were separate, or was it just one big?
When we were playing football, we all showered together.
Sure.
But if we had a bathroom in each room, um, and it was like a jail mirror and like it wasn't great.
Yep. Get it as cheap as possible. Yep.
Yeah, it was
Not,
it was very cheap for
nothing
sure.
extravagant. Yeah. Nothing that's going to cost a
Yeah,
lot of money.
yeah,
So
it was bad. I tried to kill myself like 4 times when I was there. Tried to hang myself. So yeah, it was rough, dude. Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm sure. It's a lot of pressure on a kid.
Yeah, we were expected to be perfect. If we swore once, we'd get sent to RFI for 6 days. Um, if we physically assaulted someone, or we got into a fight, or something like that had happened, 6 or more days. Um, like it was the punishments were very severe for any behavior we did, and we were always under threat of physical. That was a big one that was thrown out there. Like, we'll drop you, we'll hurt you. You know what I mean? So
They didn't threaten you with like calisthenics or push-ups, sit-ups, run around the track or whatever.
Um, no, but hey, I don't remember that, but they did if we were playing sports, but other than that, like they made us run laps if anybody in the team got in trouble, they made us run like a lot of laps.
But outside of the football arena,
Outside of the football,
it was just a
no,
beat.
no.
It was just a beat down, basically.
Yeah, it was like you're gonna get messed up. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah. Did they have any type of area there for with animals that you guys could go see or anything like that?
yeah, but nobody ever got to do any of that except for this one kid named Caleb. Um, he was the only one who I ever saw in there, ever. I asked about it, and he's the only one because like that dude didn't like anyone. The dude who ran that, so he was just like he was just kind of like like he's the only one who wants to do it, and he just claimed that. But I mean, like I would have liked to freaking go pet a horse or something. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
they have a horse there, but nobody ever gets to see it. Yeah,
yeah. It sucks.
yeah,
Oh man. So yeah, it just it doesn't seem like it was a very good time there. And you were there for almost going 2 years. That's a long time
I
of
was I was there for 13 months, so it
13
was
months. Okay,
yeah 13 months. Yeah,
okay. Still, it's 13 months of hell. You know.
yeah. I I actually when I turned 18, I walked from there. We call it walking. It's where you leave. They don't give you any of your stuff. They don't give you your social, your birth certificate, your ID, your wallet, your phone, nothing. You don't get anything. I managed to get my computer. We had these computers that were locked. I managed to get the math teacher who I got close with. I managed to get him to unlock it for me, and that's how I hit up people that had left and were staying at Dixie. Um, and I managed to stay at my one of my friends, my old roommate's dorms, and that I got close with, and I was gonna get my. I was trying to get picked up by somebody back home, but not many of my friends had cars, but I ended up like feeling like I had no other option because I couldn't get a job, I couldn't work, I couldn't do anything. I ended up coming back there, and my parents agreed if I came back, if I did all my schoolwork or whatever,
Yeah.
I'll get to go home if I graduated high school. So, um, but my parents are narcissists, so they kind of got like fed with the information, like oh he's doing so well, or he's messing up right now, he can't leave. They got fed with that those lines. Boosted their ego. They're like we're doing a really good thing,
Right.
and so anybody who has narcissistic parents, ultimately they're going to be there longer. I
Sure.
mean,
They say that they're doing great. They're going to say, "Well, we
yeah,
made
they're
a
gonna be like, "Oh, this is awesome," but
we
despite
made a
what
great
the kid tells
decision.
them, yeah,
Made a great
yeah,
decision
there
to
was,
send our kid there." You know.
yeah, yeah, there was a constant method of fear and control and power. Certain clients there had different privileges than us. Like I remember certain clients had phones. Certain clients snuck in phones. Certain clients were allowed to have their phones and others weren't. Um, and yeah, there was a lot of privilege from certain clients that were given. Like some clients could go to the gym whenever they wanted, some clients couldn't. Um, so I don't know. It could have been having to do with like how much money they were paying or whatever, but I don't know.
Or if the staff members liked you or not from the beginning.
Right, 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 right.
Kiss their ass. You know.
Yep. You kiss their ass, you get what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's some people that and I've been guilty of this before.
Yeah.
You meet somebody for the first time and with no information, you
Yeah.
just look at him and go, "Hey, he looks like a
Oh,
cool guy,"
I
or
forgot to bring
he's an
this. I
asshole.
forgot. Right. Yeah, I forgot to bring this up. When I
Yeah.
first got there, I was detoxing really bad, and Ricky, I was really mad, right? And they were all acting nice to me. They're like, "Oh, this is you're gonna be fine. Like, we'll get you a medication." They gave me somebody else's medication. It was an anxiety med. I forgot what it was. It dissolved under my tongue. I calmed down. It worked. You know what I mean? But uh, Ricky and I think his name was Trevor, and basically the big higher ups. They were all standing in a room with me, and they're like, "Well, we'll let you destroy this desk." Um, and and I'm like, "Oh, heck yeah! Like, I want to, break a desk." I was mad, like they're like, "Well, we'll let you do it." So I broke this desk. I like was smashing it, freaking broke it to pieces. Right, I was a pretty strong kid back then. Um, and I broke this desk into pieces. And Ricky actually recorded me doing it. And I remember I was like, well, I want to leave. I know you're abusing me here to Ricky. And he's like, well, if you do anything to leave or tell anybody, any of the state investigators, anything, I'll show that video to your parents and you'll never come home. So he extorted me, essentially.
Yeah, he set you up. Yeah.
Yeah, he set me up. He set me up. Yeah, and that was one of the biggest reasons why my parents wouldn't let me come home. They used that in their card book. So, yeah.
Manipulating, deceitfulness.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. It was.
I just don't
That was
understand.
messed up.
I don't understand why these people just can't run these facilities correctly.
Right.
You know?
I mean, they're children. You know what I mean? They are. We were kids. There's anywhere from sixth grade and up there, and we're kids. You're threatening to hurt us. You're threatening to take away our food or whatever. You know what I mean? And or like threatening to only feed us PB&J or whatever. That was one of the things that they had there. Um, and we're under constant threat of physical assault, so we almost have no choice but to do what we're told, um, which is stay there and do these things. Anybody who struggles with mental health, the isolation, the separation from friends, the for anything longer than like 3 months, it makes no sense. Coming from treatment as an adult, and being in sober living and stuff like that, where I'm around, people who are recovering from mental health and addiction, um, you know, it was a big wake up call. Like, hey, like this was none of this was right. All of this was illegal. Um, you know,
Yeah.
uh, running into human traffickers into my adult life, and being human trafficked as an adult made me call to realize that these people that are bringing these people to the programs, these people that are sending these people to the programs, they're all getting paid. They're all getting paid per client. Essentially getting paid per client or per group of clients, or getting paid monthly. How they get around the laws now with the FBI is they'll put them on a contract, and they'll tell like, oh, for if you bring me 4 people this month, I'll pay you 10 grand, or if before they were paying, and they still do it, but it's illegal. You get paid per person you bring in. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of talk about that amongst the staff, and they actually tried to recruit me to be one of these people. So
And I think it's my opinion. I think
yeah,
sometimes they get the trust of the parents and say, "Hey, no need
yeah,
to
they
take
do.
them. You don't have to spend money for a plane ticket. We'll take them for you."
Yes, and then they make you pay 80 grand, and like these parents are paying a substantial amount of money for their kid to get abused, essentially.
Yeah. For
So
basically a tuition price
yeah,
for staying there.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's oh man, it's so fucked up.
It's like the Mormon Church doesn't have enough money. I mean, goodness.
Right, right. Ricky constantly talked about in our meetings with us on the football team that the police were on his payroll in the town, and like if you ever got pulled over while you're out on a home visit, or out on a visit with your parents, that like just tell them you go to DRA, and like you'll get let go, and all sorts of stuff like that. It's to my knowledge that I mean, I heard while I was there that he left and went to Brazil to pursue other avenues of business, but I have no idea. He left shortly before I
Huh.
left there.
Did a lot of but did some of the staff? I'm sure there had to be been at least one in the bunch, a good one that
Yeah, there was a good one. There was a good one. His name was Thomas.
yeah, I just couldn't stand to see you guys getting abused and either said
Yeah,
something or left. So I
yeah.
can't do that
Thomas
anymore.
Thomas was a good guy. We got off on the wrong foot, but he actually showed he cared a lot about me when I got there. After I started acting like a nice human being to other people, um, you know he uh, he really started to show that he cared about me, and he felt bad.
Sure.
He felt bad for the way. He had anger problems himself, and he was really abused as a child. He shared a lot about his life with me, and I still to this day think he's a good guy. Honestly, I think he's kind of stuck, and he thinks he's doing the right thing by working there. I mean, I don't know if he works there anymore, but that he was. I mean, he seems like he genuinely wants to help. But
Some of these
yeah,
some of these kids that had mental health problems, um, were they able
yeah,
to see a therapist once a week, or was it just whenever they wanted you to, or anything like
it
that?
was. We saw a therapist once a week, but
Okay.
I mean, the therapist. I think it was once a week or once every 2 weeks or something like that.
Uh huh.
Um, but it wasn't really like a traditional therapy session, like where I was like when I was introduced to therapy. I was introduced to therapy very young, like 5 years old. I saw something wrong immediately when I walked into my therapist's office. So yeah,
It wasn't the couch, and he was sitting there with the notepad.
it was just it was like a traditional treatment setting. Like the setting was normal, but there was just something, like I knew like that, like this wasn't a good place, so it was just weird, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
because I knew he was manipulating and like telling me to do all these things that were not going to necessarily be beneficial to me. One of the therapists, he was all right. I didn't really like him too much, but um, he encouraged me to go to NA and like seek treatment and do stuff like that. But they had like a makeshift NA meeting there, but uh, we just went for the
Yeah.
girls. 'Cause the girls would show up to there. Oh yeah,
That's usually how it goes. Well,
yeah. So yeah,
it's a good thing there wasn't Sex Addicts Anonymous.
right.
All you guys have been going for the girls.
Yeah, I'm actually yeah. So it was interesting.
Well, it's
Yeah,
good to see that you're getting some treatment. I
yeah,
mean, you got out and you got your diploma, correct?
yes, I did.
Good,
They
good.
matched my credits, I believe. Yeah, they helped me out with some schooling. I think they were just trying to get me the hell out of there because I was,
Yeah.
so I was,
So
I was,
how you
yeah.
doing? How you doing now? You doing pretty good?
I still struggle with dealing with the fact that I was ultimately trafficked there. I'm still dealing with the traumas and the fear and just like I know I never have to go back, but I still relive it every day in my head.
Sure.
I'm doing much better now than I was when I initially got out of there. But separation from I've taken some massive strides over the past couple months to getting better. Really working on myself, but it's going to take some time.
Sure.
So
Sure.
yeah,
But eventually, you know, I mean, when it comes to addiction, you know, I know some people that have been clean for years and years and years and years and years.
yeah,
And there's some that have been clean for a short amount of time and
yeah,
relapse, which,
yes,
it happens. It happens with that. But I believe, and this is my opinion, I believe it just depends on how strong you are. You know
Yeah.
how much you want it. You know, I want to get clean. I want to be able to fix this problem that I have. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, and I believe, because I mean I've never been through the addiction, you know,
Right.
phase, but I know some people who have. So you know, I kind of have an idea. You know,
Yeah.
if you stick to that road, eventually it's gonna be pretty. It's gonna be all right. You know, I
Yeah.
mean,
So
do you ever really? I guess the question would be, do you ever really get over it? Are you going to be
no, you just
completely cured? You know what I mean?
but well, with addiction or with the trauma dealing with
With
the
both, both. I
uh,
mean, I,
well,
I mean,
the way I
yeah,
look at it is I'll always be an addict. Will I be in active addiction or will I be in remission? And then with the trauma, I will never get over it, but I will accept it.
right,
You know, I will accept it for what it is. It happened. You know, it's there. I'm okay with it now. I'm not okay with what they did to me, but I'm okay with it. The fact that I accept that it happened, I accept that I was not in control of my environment. I was not, I can't control other people. I can't do any of that, so I was a child, you know what I mean? I didn't have a
sure.
choice. Yeah.
Take it a step at a time, day by day, basically.
Yes. Day by day, one day at a time.
Yes, yes. Wonderful, wonderful. It's good to see Brady that you're doing well.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
it's great. I mean, it's always nice to hear. I mean, you know, you hear the good with the bad, you know, or should I say
Yeah.
the bad with the good, you know, because usually the bad comes first. But
Yeah.
you know,
When I got out of there, I for sure went on probably one of the worst. I had probably some of the hardest time recovering from that experience. I ended up um, very sick from drugs. I relapsed pretty bad when I got out of there. I was, I didn't know how to cope with all the stuff that I had saw
sure,
and dealt with when I was there. So, but I'm doing a lot better now, and I'm grateful for that. So,
yes, that's very good. It's very good. Like I said, I'm glad to hear that the story's not all bad. You know what I mean?
not all bad. It's getting better, and it's gonna get better, even
That's
better.
good. Yep.
So,
So, Brady, you got anything else you want to add?
don't send your kid to Diamond Ranch.
And yes, for anybody watching, just to kind of
And
put this out
honestly,
there.
like
Yeah,
for all the parents that do believe their kids, like unlike mine, all the parents that do believe their kids, and you know I support you guys. I love you guys, and if you ever need help getting them to treatment, to a I can hopefully help with that, a real treatment center where they're actually going to help your kids. So
sure.
um,
That's
is it
good.
alright if I leave my contact information or just comment on the YouTube video?
Do you have an email address?
I do. It's J
Okay.
I
Well,
M.
yeah, you could go ahead, but
Okay.
I'll go ahead and put it in the description as well. Go ahead.
Okay. It's JIM003105 at gmail.com. Yeah. So I'd be more than happy to try and help. I don't know how much luck I'd have. Um, I'm more experienced with like knowing about adult treatment centers than like good ones than that nature. But I could definitely have some. I have a lot of friends and connections that I could help get somebody like that help. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right. Well, that's great. For anybody that wants to be on this podcast,
yeah,
I've been getting a lot of texts. This is for
it's
everybody
awesome.
out there. This is for everybody out there, Brady. Um,
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of texts from people saying, "I want to be on the podcast, but how do I do it?" It's very simple, and I'll leave it in the description as well. If you
Okay.
go to the top of my channel page on YouTube, okay, it says to sign up for the podcast. There's a big red arrow that goes straight down to an icon that you click onto. It gives you the days of the week that I'm doing it and the time. And then that's when you text me and let me know, hey, I want this date or whatever, and we'll schedule you in.
Okay.
Okay?
Awesome. I'll reach out to any of the people I know out here that are survivors of Diamond Ranch. So
Right.
I'll
Like I
reach
said,
out and
if
let
there's
them know.
any survivors of Diamond Ranch Academy out there listening, um,
Yeah.
like I said, go on the top of the channel page, click on that icon, and then get a hold of me because my number and my email and everything is there. All you got to do is
All
just
right.
text me. All right. Don't call me because I won't answer. You have to text
Okay.
me.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, Brady, thanks for being on. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you. Thank you for letting
Yes.
me share my experience. So
Yes. If you think of anything else, let me know. We can probably get a part two or whatever. Or
okay.
if you know somebody that wants to come on but maybe is a little scared to come on, if you want to come on with them, kind of as a support system, we can do that as well. That's not a
Okay.
problem. We can accommodate a lot of people on this video conference call. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so
All
much,
right.
man.
Sure. Stay on the line real quick.
Okay.
Uh, like I said, just get a hold of me and make sure you subscribe to the channel. It helps distribute this video out there on YouTube. Okay. So for the Hammer
For sure.
Podcast, I'm Jason. You take care of yourself, take care of each other. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next podcast.